Welcome to the Phlarpin Podcast. Phlarp stands for Park Hills Live Action Role Players. We are a medieval fantasy-themed LARP group that engages in unscripted combat against each other using padded LARP weapons and a shared combat system. We operate out of Park Hills, Missouri every Sunday from 1 p.m. until 5 p.m. It is our hope here at the Phlarpin Podcast that through the utilization of this platform, we can expand on the ideas and suggestions taken from our players in order to maximize player retention and to expand our player base. The Phlarpin Podcast is made possible by support from our players and listeners like you. If you would like to support us, please visit our Patreon where you can do so for as little as $3 a month. Also, any engagement on our YouTube or Facebook pages is much appreciated, and thank you for listening.
And welcome to the Phlarpin Podcast. I'm your host, Jason Smith, or North.
And I'm Brandon Frazier, or Daveen Alwyn.
And I am Chris, or Eric the Red Blood Zerker.
And I'm Adarius, or Lord Reese.
And today is April something.
22nd?
Today's Phlarpin Day.
That's
No.
not the 22nd.
No,
What am I, the
no,
16th?
what are you thinking?
It's April 16th. I don't know what's going on in my brain.
Neither do we.
Yeah, it's a problem. I know that.
So, recap, I guess.
Well, I do
Start
have a
with?
joke. I have a joke
Oh,
of the
you
week.
have a joke already?
Oh,
Wow.
yeah.
Okay.
It's ready to go.
You're
Just let me
setting the
grab
tone?
it here. Well, I just like to get it out of the way because I'll forget. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying this is a great one, but it's a joke.
Okay.
So the joke is, vampires are lousy comedians because their sense of humor sucks.
Is that it?
That's the joke.
Okay.
I do have a second one. How do you know someone is a vampire? Because
I
a
don't know.
vampire is always coughing.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
That's brilliant.
It's really not.
How,
It's,
how long did you spend researching these jokes?
that was about 4 seconds. So
Nice.
that's what I came up with.
Time
Did you
well spent.
laugh when you read that?
No, not really.
Oh, okay. Cool.
But I feel like if I read a bad joke, that like I need to spread that bad joke around for everybody to hear. You know,
Nice.
like I really just want to I want everyone to be miserable when I hear the joke. You know?
Oh boy.
Well, mission accomplished.
Yeah.
Oh,
Thanks.
boy.
Oh wow.
Sorry, Mickey jumped in. My bad.
Yeah. Clearly. It's all right.
Is that your new accent for your character?
Absolutely not.
No.
What is the accent for the character?
I don't know.
Okay, right on.
What's your accent for your character?
I could give it a go. Here we go.
Yeah, is it? It's a me, Daveen.
It's a me. No, I know it's just it's kind of regal. You know, it's just I just
What
talk
does
a
Regal
lot
sound
like well, my name is Daveen Alwyn.
Like snooty? Is that what?
Yeah, I mean, that to be fair, like when I do play my character, and I want everybody to know this, like when I really genuinely start to play a character, if I do, especially an elf, I do want to sound snooty or feel like I'm better than everybody
like
else.
holier than thou.
Yeah, I mean, and I think if I was an actual elf, I probably would feel some kind of way, especially the humans. Like they live, 8, 9, 10 times longer than humans do. So I think I would feel as if I was the superior race for sure. And so when I go out to LARP, if I ever do play Daveen like as a clan and not as a marshal, I will play him a lot differently. And one of the things that I will do is basically make people feel as if they're not an elf, that their opinion doesn't matter to me nearly as much as it does when an elf talks to me.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think that all fantasy games are built around racism, and I think that most elves are either xenophobic or hate the other races because they feel like they're inferior. And I feel like that's missing in our game. So eventually I will do that.
There is a the dark. Have you ever read the Dark Elf trilogy, the Drizzt books?
No, I did start reading the first one.
There's a part in those where they talk about this. He runs into this wizard, and they talk about that. They talk about how the other races have a long time to study all their, because they have longer lives. They have longer to study all the magic and stuff, whereas humans have a very short life. So they'll just they'll try to learn magic that is beyond their comprehension, basically, before they're really capable of wielding it, and so they'll wield it recklessly because they have less time to master it, essentially, than some of the other races.
Yeah.
And that was a thing they mentioned. So
Right.
makes sense.
Yeah, and so I mean, at least in the meantime, like Daveen the Marshal, I'm playing him a lot differently because I'm playing a different role. But if I ever play as a player, things will change.
And
So-
and also that's why humans in our game just get the one extra ability point per level, instead of like if you add up the ability points worth of points that somebody would get from that is playing a race that's anything other than human, they end up with more like points worth of abilities than humans ever get.
Right.
But humans have more freedom in the where
Sure.
they give them abilities, whereas the other races just get abilities at certain levels once they get that level.
Yeah, and there's like
It's kind of meant to be like a translation of that same kind of idea.
sure, and it works the same way kind of in D&D, honestly, because like you get an extra ability point for each, whatever, your dexterity, your strength, your con, all of that, as opposed to like certain races will get like 2 strength and a con or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just kind of like more specialized for races that aren't human,
Mm-hmm.
which I actually like. So, and that's coming from someone who's playing an elf that doesn't feel like they can utilize all of the abilities that elves get. Like Tumble, I am probably never going to use Tumble, ever. I just don't think.
If you ever fell down on accident, you could just say
I
it.
could say Tumble to
Yeah.
like try to save myself. I might try that at some
And
point.
they just start rolling like
Yeah,
sideways.
just sideways. Yeah.
yeah.
You should take lessons from Arno.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that kid can tumble with the best of them, but he's always fallen, so it makes sense.
He's really good.
I also
Yeah, he'd be
noticed a
wild
lot of
with
times when
Tumble.
he tumbles though, he's tumbling backwards. I don't think that's how it was meant to be used.
Yeah, not necessarily as an escape.
I mean, it works though.
I mean, it works.
So, what else?
Well, we got recap.
Yeah,
Yep,
I guess
Yep,
recap.
got some recap.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I got that thing. So the first thing we played was, first of all, we
Last
played
Man
it.
Standing.
We had to play at a different pavilion, which was
That's
kind of
true.
interesting.
Yes.
True.
Um,
Near the front of the park, which
Mhm.
clearly got us some attention because, well, for starters, the Park Hills Police showed up. That was kind of cool.
A couple of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and then they watched us for a little while, and I'll get back to the other thing, but they watched us for a little while, and then right before they left, when they went to go leave, I said, well, do you want to play or whatever? And he's like, nah, I'm just watching. I was like, oh, okay. And then whenever they went to leave, I walked over there, and he rolled his window down, and I was like, oh, you guys are out or whatever, you leaving? Or he's like, yeah. He's like, actually, I play at a different LARP group. I don't remember what it's called, but he basically has played at a
It
different.
was Daggerfall. Or
Yeah, or
something, wasn't it?
Dagger here. I don't remember what it's called. 'Cause
Something.
That was
I don't
Daggerfall.
know.
Dagger. I don't
He
know.
might
what's
be
called.
just making stuff up. I don't know.
But there's another LARP group that he plays with, and he said I played with him for almost like 15, 20 years or something like that, and he was just scoping out the competition. I was like, oh, okay, well, that works, I guess.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
and also shout out to the police officers because when we first got there were a couple of kids being real
Mhm.
noisy with some music, and they chased them off pretty quick. So that was
Mhm.
nice.
Yeah.
They were being, those kids were being like purposefully obnoxious, I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah, like
so-
they were trying to elicit some kind of a reaction out of us or something,
Mhm.
Yep.
which fortunately didn't happen. So
Right.
I have to actually congratulate our heroes because they were wanting to, and I was trying to
Mhm.
herd them and just be like, hey, let's come over here. We're getting ready to start. And luckily, none of our players engaged with them. So I think that's kind of why when the police showed up, they were like, oh, we're out by.
well, they made a comment about how they thought we called the police on them, which we did not.
No.
At
Mhm.
least I didn't.
No, not that I know of. Nobody
No.
did. I think he just drove. He said he drove by and saw us fighting and decided to just come and look at it. So.
Yeah.
Which, to be fair, would not have happened if we weren't at the
If
front
we
of
weren't
the
at
park.
front of the park,
Yep.
So
And I did, what they were doing was they were just playing like music really loud. They sat at a picnic table close to us. And I did say something to them at first, which I guess they heard me because they did change the song. I said, hey, do you got any good music? Because they were playing music like really loud. And then he switched the song and I'm like, oh, maybe they are actually going to like listen to me maybe. And then they start playing another crappy like song or whatever.
and
I
by
was just like,
crappy
okay.
song, we're not talking like preference. We're talking about it just had like a lot of like vulgar
Yeah, it was
words
just
and
like,
stuff in
you
it.
know,
Made no sense.
It had no business being at a public park, but that loud. I'll say that.
Mm.
Yeah.
So,
Uh,
but anyway,
But yeah. Anyway, so yeah, we
started
played at
with
the front of the park.
Last Man Standing.
Yeah.
If that helps you roll along here.
Yeah, last man standing. And then I guess who was the winners of that?
Heston won. In second place was Trinity, I believe, and in third place was Jonathan Trapp.
Yeah.
Is that what
Oh,
you
yeah,
got?
I'm looking at the wrong. Yes. I was looking at the wrong thing. Yeah.
Yeah. And
And this is the second time that we've done the last man standing by removing that one backstab rule.
Yeah,
and I guess
it's
the
fine.
people that were there knew about that rule didn't exist anymore, I assume. and I guess it went well.
It went okay. I will say, I don't have a problem with a backstab, but what I do have a problem with is two people just blatantly teaming against somebody else.
Oh, did you notice that?
I noticed
Yeah.
two people going at one today, and I was like, hey, if you guys are within 5 feet of each other, you're gonna have to fight,
Mm-hmm.
because they were like purposefully teaming during Last Man Standing. It was kind of whack.
Did they listen to you whenever you?
Not really, no.
Okay, all right.
They did kind of split up for a second or two.
Yeah,
See, this was my concern anyway, more than the backstabbing, but that might be something we should discuss.
they weren't like on a team or anything though. Like they weren't like clan members together or
okay.
anything like that. It just they were working together to take down a bigger target. And I don't necessarily
and then they
blame
didn't
them for that.
immediately engage each other right afterward.
No.
Oh, okay. That would have been.
Nope.
It would have been all right if they did that though.
Right.
If they were like, "Hey, help me kill this guy, and then we'll figure it out between the two of us."
Right. And to be fair, the person they killed didn't get like mad about it or anything. Like I said, today was actually really good. No one really got upset with each other and good vibes.
Yeah,
So
it was good energy all around. I think, and everybody was having fun. We had some good RP with the Midnight Watchers.
yeah,
So I mean,
kicked out that was actually kind of big news. They kicked out a member of their clan. Yi Futin got kicked out of their clan,
Mm-hmm.
which has been with them since the very beginning. So that kind of surprised me
Mm-hmm.
a little bit.
And it doesn't surprise me that, like, what he did. It surprises me they kicked him out for that, but I didn't know they had some kind of like thing like that where
I didn't either.
they had like an agreement, I guess, amongst themselves that they shouldn't kill marshals or kill. I don't know if it's just me specifically or what, but I think it was for killing me whenever I was out there trying to set the game up.
Well, all I was
'Cause I
told was
walked right
that
by.
he had gotten his 4th strike and that he was out.
Oh, okay.
And he was pretty blindsided by it, from what I understand. So
And like it was all in character, but whenever I finished setting up, they said, "Hey, North, did he not kill you?" And I was like, I don't know, because like in our game, if you're getting pretty cleanly backstabbed where you can't tell it happened, you're supposed to just like not know, because like the process of rezzing and going through the portal of Pandoom and all that, it's supposed to be like kind of like mentally taxing. So especially if you didn't even see it happen at all, you probably wouldn't even know how it happened. Like you wouldn't know, basically, from our character's
And we even
perspective.
took it a step further when we were out at property. Like if you went out into the woods and you got killed by somebody,
You didn't remember
tried-
any of it.
Right.
Yeah. You didn't even have to get backstabbed. Yeah, I think the way we did it before. But yeah, so I said, I don't know. I don't know what happened, I said. And then other people were like, yeah, we saw him kill you. We saw him kill you or whatever. And then I was like, well, I guess so. According to these witnesses, he did. But I don't know, you know.
Right.
So I guess that's why they were doing it. It's cool as all an in-game thing, though. But I was going to ask you, why did you have them go out of town for that when they were there asking?
Just because last time, so they came up and told me that they were going to do a role play thing, but Trap came up and told me.
Okay.
And the first thing I said to him, I was like, well, does he know that you guys are doing this? And he was like, yeah, like he knows. And I'm like, okay, well, regardless of whether he knows or not, like, especially without don't put your hands on that
Don't
boy.
touch anybody, yeah.
And he said, okay. So, but I was worried. I was a little worried after the last one
Yeah.
because,
yeah,
I didn't want, somebody to just come up and get grabbed and, have a bad reaction to it, because technically that would be the grabber's fault. And
Right.
we just don't need that mess. So,
Mhm.
but the reason I told him to move it out of town or whatever is because as a marshal who, I don't know, feels some kind of obligation for the city or whatever, I didn't want there to
Sure.
a fight break out in town. So I was like, why don't you just take it out there?
yeah.
I mean, because their whole point was they wanted it public. They wanted people to hear it, whatever. I was like, just do it next to the pavilion.
right.
So that's the only reason I had to move it out of town. Was there a complaint about it or something?
It wasn't a complaint. It was, I know there's something in the suggestion box about it where they were curious about something, and I know basically a player tried to stab them while they were out there.
Oh,
And then they were like, oh, we're in the middle of this role play thing. We're not doing that. We're not going to like take that death or whatever. And this person was just confused about like, if they're in campaign, even if they're role playing, how can they be immune to stuff? Like they should basically,
Yeah,
what I was saying is like, no, go ahead.
I'm curious to know who put that in there, though,
funny.
because I will tell you this is something that happened. Is somebody came up and specifically asked me, are they in campaign? And I said, no, because I just logged in like 10 people for this event.
right.
There's an event about to be played. Therefore, no, they're not in campaign.
Oh, okay. But that was the only reason why. Otherwise,
Right.
they would have been vulnerable.
Yes.
Okay.
So to answer that question, or to the person that put that in, that was something that I had said to somebody, and if it's the person that had asked me about it, I already gave you an answer. So
I see. Oh, was that person Magnus?
I
Yeah.
think that was,
Okay.
yeah, that was prior.
Yeah, so I was there with him, and I mean, he was logging people in, and I had made the announcement of, hey, if you're going to participate in this event, you know, we need you to come into queue. And Wilhelm was like, hey, can you give me a minute? I have something going on here. Okay, yeah, that's fine. You know, we'll check everybody in, and we'll send them out there. So, in essence, you know, like you said, we were starting an event.
We had already cleared the
campaign would be inactive at that moment.
And the reason I ask you is because we were talking about it on the way back, and I was like, well, maybe that's why he sent them out of town, is so that they would be vulnerable when they're doing their role play thing. And I was like, so I don't really know. I'll just ask him.
no. So they
So the
had
only
made the
reason why
decision they were going to do that.
And it
They
just
were
kinda
taking way too
fell
long.
around.
Like we were probably at that point waiting in between events, like close to 20 minutes. And so I was like, all right, well, we're calling the next event. And as far as I'm concerned, as soon as I start sending people out there for an event, which I had already sent the majority of the people out for the event, I'm not worried about campaign at that point, and not at the park.
Yeah.
Right.
I think it's different, obviously, if we're out at property and we have an event area.
Right.
That's different. But yeah, that's why I did that. So not that he listens to the podcast, but when you talk to Magnus,
Okay.
you can tell him that's why I had made that decision. And I told
Okay.
him that already. So I don't know why he's confused, unless he didn't hear me.
I mean, we
No,
do
okay.
have his clan leader here that doesn't speak, but his clan leader is
Yeah,
here.
I'm not going to interrupt.
Well, you could add. I'd like to hear a player's perspective on this.
No, he came up to me. He's like, "Hey, do you care if I like go interact?" I was like, "Go for it." I mean, it's a free reign, but I'm not sure like what they're doing. He's like, "All right." So he's like, "Well, I stabbed him, but they're not gonna take it."
And
I
that was before or
Yeah.
after he had talked to him, because he
That
probably
was,
just
yeah,
didn't
that was
hear you.
before. He's like, "Well," I was like, "Go ahead and ask North, or go ahead and ask Daveen, because they should know." So he got that. He's like, "Yeah, they're doing something. I can't do anything." I was like, "Well."
And
Better,
because
like,
for
not-
future
Basically,
reference,
he was trying to start crap in game
Right.
with
Yeah.
them.
No,
but
I
he couldn't
understand.
because
I totally understand that. And for future reference, the only thing that saved them was the fact that I had already been
called the
sending
event.
people out there for the event.
Right.
That's the only reason. Otherwise,
if
hey,
they'd
if
have
you've
been
got some-
standing on the other side, would they have still been open campaign? Do you think that would have counted?
sure.
I guess what I'm asking or wanting to encourage is when somebody's going to do a role play thing, hire guards or whatever you got to do
Yeah.
to make sure that somebody doesn't come interrupt your thing. This is a little bit different because we've established that you'd already called an event and
Right.
campaign wasn't really active anymore at that point. But it would be a lot cooler if people tried to do it in between the events in campaign like they were doing. Just don't take as long maybe, but actually hire people to make sure that if somebody comes to interrupt you, you can do whatever you need to do about it. Like you can either maintain your role play or, you know, that you would still honor all the rules of dying and going through the death cycle in campaign, basically. I think you should do that.
No, I
think
agree.
it takes away from the immersion when you tell everybody, hey, we're about to role play, so we're all going to be immune to everything.
Well, it's supposed to be an improv thing.
Right.
And if you
Right.
go in with like a
Like a whole
set,
entire script.
yeah, I mean,
Right.
a scripted, acted thing, which I appreciate those too, but understand that at any time somebody could interrupt.
Sure. Yeah, like even when I did role play before, that's what I did. Is I just hired people to like guard me while I was doing whatever I wanted to do.
Yeah, I think the thrill of it is just
So
being
if
able
somebody
to
comes out
adjust
there,
to it.
I'll kill them. You know.
And to be fair, I do want to say this because it probably needs to be said. There was a time a long time ago when all we did really for role play was scripted stuff. Like we were very new to the idea, a lot of the people, and we would go out there with like a set thing of what we were going to do, and people didn't really react all that well to people getting involved with it. But the reality of the situation is this is LARP. It's live action role play. And we're role playing, all of us together. And so, like, if you have a scripted thing like that, it's hard to tell somebody that they can't get involved. Again, the only reason that
Because they're messing up. Their
I'm
script.
saying that they're okay on this one is because I had already called the
Right.
event.
So
Right.
this doesn't really apply to this
Particular
incident that we're
issue,
talking
yeah.
about,
Right.
but you know.
But yeah, that's what I would tell him because I didn't, you know, if he wants to interrupt that or whatever, for future reference, tell me that you're going to, you know, or whatever. I told him, like, it's because, like, I just told him it's not going to work, basically. Maybe I should have explained myself better, but.
Yeah, like say that normally it would, but just because
Right.
we already called the event, no, that's why it's not working or something like that. But I'll tell him because he doesn't listen to the podcast. So
Right.
Shame.
And in case anybody else was wondering about how
That's a
True.
shame.
the role play and whatever works. So
Shame.
Shame.
So what do we do next?
Finish the recap.
I am very much aware of that. I meant on the recap.
Oh,
Eric, the Bloodzerker.
next, the
ambassador.
Yeah.
Oh, Ambassador Eric, the Bloodzerker.
Just so our viewers know that
Oh, okay.
I was recently given the title by Chancellor North as Phlarp's ambassador. So, any questions you have, don't ask me, ask him.
That
But-
doesn't even make any sense.
I will go out into the community and talk and progress our lineage.
What happens if he doesn't? Like if he goes, he just doesn't have any success. Does he get his title taken away?
Yes.
But what is there a time period on this? Like, because I want
Yeah, this
somebody
is a-
specifically to come to LARP and be like, "Oh, I heard this from Ambassador Eric the Bloodzerker," and if it doesn't
Red.
happen, oh, excuse me, Eric the Red Bloodzerker, then I want there to be some kind of penalty.
Okay.
I'm just saying,
What, you gonna do, spank me?
maybe we had the shackles.
I got out of them
I mean, that's fair, but I mean,
twice.
next time you're picking your switch. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
Anyway,
That's fine with me.
Cool.
We'll just spank him. If
yeah.
he
So
doesn't do
so
it.
what do we do next?
Then we played a team deathmatch.
Oh yeah, what happened in that?
Uh,
Actually,
So-
okay, we should talk about this
Okay.
because that was way closer than I expected it to
yeah,
be.
me too.
So all the teams used every single life that they had.
Yeah, first let's, for
Okay.
the listeners' sake,
Yeah.
we did the game a little bit different. So instead of usually we have sort of a survival situation where it's like the last team standing wins, which I guess it sort of was like that.
Sort of.
But the difference was we were keeping track of the lives. So each marshal had a team that they were keeping track of, and every time that person from that team rezzed at the res point, we would click a button on a counter. And when that counter got to 25, they could no longer res. So they essentially had a pool of 25 lives plus their initial, I guess,
Mhm.
starting life to
Which was
to share amongst
significant
them.
because we gave them a pretty decent life pool. We gave each team 25 lives, and there was only 6 members on each team.
yeah. So spread out, they could have died
Four times
times,
apiece,
yeah.
with an extra life.
right.
Yeah. So it was a significant life pool.
Mm-hmm.
Just to kind of set the scene here.
Yeah, and we had the one which Midnight Watchers did have quite a bit of their people there
True.
too.
There are 4, I think, right?
Hmm. And then the Black Rose.
Right.
The Black Rose was the team that I kind of thought would just
trample. Yeah, I
stomp
thought
everybody.
so too.
Yeah. And then, well, what were you saying earlier? Did I?
No,
you-
I got
Did
everything.
I don't know
out.
if I got back to. Okay. Anyway, so we thought they were going to basically trample everybody, and then there was the Midnight Watchers, and then there was a team of mostly mercenaries. I
All
think. Yeah, it
mercenaries.
was all mercenaries.
Mhm.
And I thought that that team of all mercenaries would probably be one of the first ones eliminated.
Yeah.
And
it-
I was wrong.
yeah. Now I say that I'm actually not telling the truth. Technically, they had a lord there, but that lord didn't have any of his members there. I don't
Oh
believe.
yeah, so he was
So
acting
he's not
as a
right. So he played with the mercenaries, but he wasn't a mercenary himself.
Mhm.
And I don't know. There may have been another member on that team like that. I'm not sure.
And the people themselves had no idea. The teams had no idea as individuals how many lives they had left.
Right.
We were just gonna, when they ran out of lives, tell the next person in line that was from that team, "Hey, you've got no lives left." And I also kind of stressed that they shouldn't just announce it to everybody,
Mm-hmm.
because like that does happen sometimes when we try to do that. The last person will be like, "Oh, we're out of lives, guys. We're out of lives," and they tell everybody, and then everybody starts,
Game planning accordingly.
yes,
Yeah.
then it does become the last one, survival situation more than it should be or whatever. Which, granted, they could still just watch the res point and be like, "Oh, look, it looks like one of our teammates didn't res. Apparently, we're out of lives." They could have done that too, which is what I would have probably tried to do if I was playing. But yeah, we though knew their progress the entire time,
Right.
because we were looking at each other's counters and stuff.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. It was
And-
always closer than I thought it was going to be.
Even
Always.
down to the last two teams, it was only by three lives apart or something like that. I mean, I think they still had quite a bit of lives.
No,
if you count the-
everybody used all of their lives though.
Oh,
You're talking
okay.
about like people that were left. Like even Black Rose, they used
Stopped
their
rezzing at the
25th
end.
life. Like
Oh, okay.
nobody went to res that like couldn't,
Oh,
but they used their last life.
ah.
So everybody used all their lives.
hmm And I thought it went like I thought it was kind of an interesting match.
Seemed like
compared
everybody
to,
had fun, yeah.
normal.
And also, I noticed that the two teams that were not Black Rose, I thought were fairly strategic as far as pinching Black Rose, which is
Mhm.
probably what they needed to do
Mhm.
to have a chance. And I don't know, I thought it was competitive, and I enjoyed it just as a somebody watching, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, the mercenary team was like actually running away sometimes whenever they needed to, instead of just standing their ground and trying to
Right.
fight or whatever. And they were working them around the res point and trying to keep the res point, like you said, pinching the other team, in
Smart.
between them,
Yeah.
so they would engage with that team instead of them, the Watchers team.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it worked. The Watchers got eliminated first, so
True.
Yeah. I kind of had to step off for a few minutes. We had a parent and a young person that they kind of wanted some information. So luckily, I had one card that was sitting in the top of my bag, and one of our new heroes that has not gone through patrol yet had came to me and said, "Hey, look, there's somebody asking about it." So I I didn't think about it. I had the counter in my hand, and I was like running over there, and I'm like, "Okay, here's our card," and I was explaining everything. I'm like, normally, we're up here. But you can come out anytime. And they were asking, like, where can we get costumes? Where can we get weapons? And I was all like, a lot of our players make their own weapons, but, you can go onto, certain sites and get them. So in the middle of trying to explain all this, North runs over. He's like, "Where's your counter?" I was like, "Here you go."
Yeah. Well, it's
So-
because people were dying, and I was like, "Where is the other counter? Like,
Yeah.
we need it." And he's like, "Oh, Chris has got it. You were way over there."
Yeah.
mhm.
I was like, "Well, go get it." And then I'm like yelling, "Oh, you got another one! You got another one!"
So I mean that was on me, but again, I didn't want to miss that opportunity of possibly getting another player.
Mhm.
No, that's fair.
So
Just
I
out
was
of curiosity, who is the player that we have not done a patrol for?
Cricket.
Oh,
Cricket is here.
you've been there long enough that surprises me that I thought you had done that already. But fair enough.
Yeah. Cricket in the background. I know that you don't like to. You are very antisocial, but correct me if I'm wrong. But today is the day you finally made your character. Is that correct? Yes. Okay. So today, I mean, Cricket has been there. You've been there for what? Going on
Couple months at least, right?
Mhm.
2 or 3, 5 months.
Oh wow, way more than I thought.
So they know the game. They know how it works. I know for a while you just weren't ready for it, kind of overwhelmed. But Cricket has finally come around and has interacted with most of us and is like, okay, yeah, I can kind of participate a little bit. So made your character today, and hopefully next week we'll have you
Do a patrol.
do a patrol.
I did play a little bit today and got smacked in the face.
Yeah,
Cool.
did a little
Can't
sparring.
promise
to the
that
best
won't
of
happen
us.
again.
Yeah.
It happens to the best of us.
So yeah,
So speaking of the team deathmatch, we will say that at the end of that, the winners were the Black Rose team, which did include Trinity, Raven, Heston, Squishy, Lord Rand, of course, and Joseph were the winners of that event. So
all right. Congratulations to them.
they did a good job.
Yeah, and I have to say that Joseph is coming around.
Oh yeah,
Mm-hmm.
He's been getting really, really good. So I want to give a shout out to him.
Yeah, I think he's gonna be playing a champion warrior.
Is he?
Mhm.
Yeah.
He does a really good job of, I appreciate the effort on his costume. Like, he is trying really
Yeah.
hard on his costume with some of it's just cardboard and tape, but it's awesome.
Yeah.
He's
No, it
making
looked
like
really
helmets
well.
and
he's
stuff
very
like that.
knowledgeable about the stuff he's wearing too, which I really
Mhm.
appreciate.
Like
And-
historically.
And he's funnier than I thought he was. I will tell you today, I was picking up trash around the pavilion just because from the storm last night and stuff especially, it was a mess. And I
Mhm.
also don't know if it's just more of a mess because we don't normally play there. And usually Phlarp picks up
I was
trash
picking
every
up
week.
a ton of trash today too.
But at one point I go over and I picked up a ketchup packet from Hunt's, and it says tomato ketchup. And I was remarking about how redundant that was. Like, I've never had ketchup that wasn't made out of something tomato.
right.
And I just was kind of making fun of it. And so I went and threw it out, threw it away or whatever. And he came over to me in private basically and was like, "Yeah, no, I don't know why they would put tomato on the package." I'm like, "I know, it's very weird, right?" And he's like, "Yeah, have you ever had ketchup that wasn't made out of tomato?" And I'm like, "No." I don't even think that would be ketchup anymore. Like, that's just weird. It's odd. But, like, just he found the redundancy funny, too, and he made sure to come over and comment about it. And I
Nice.
appreciated it because I did think it was funny.
That is funny.
Ironic.
I will say that the original ketchup,
Oh boy, here we go.
No, I'm interested.
historical.
Let's-
Okay,
what do you got?
Historical.
Yeah.
Have you seen that, like, America built, foods that built America?
No.
Okay,
I'm
so
vaguely familiar with it. Yeah.
okay, so I actually watched an episode where how was it Heinz or Hunts or whoever
It was probably
Had-
Heinz 57. Were they the
had came
oldest?
up with how they made tomato ketchup, because it was originally made with like fish, some kind of fish product,
Gross.
and they would
Yeah.
put it because
Gross.
back then they didn't have refrigeration.
With no tomatoes, like there's
Yeah, no, it
was
wasn't
all-
tomato. It was actually like fish product, some kind of fish product.
That sounds
And
absolutely
they would put it on their meat. They were like, "This is disgusting." So he had went in
Why did
and
we do this?
yeah, he was like, "This is worse." So he was trying to find different things, and he came upon tomatoes and made ketchup.
Well, listen, if this
So
is
they
factual
originally
information,
produced
that
something.
sounds wild.
Yeah.
If that's real, blows my mind.
You know what? I will go back on my free time, and I will
And
try
fact
and
check this.
I will research
So-
on what episode it is. It's one of the first few episodes, and I'll try and send it to you guys in Messenger.
So what we're saying on the podcast is we don't know for sure that this is 100% accurate.
I mean, it is coming from me. I am never 100%.
Right.
Have you tried banana ketchup?
But I mean, you did see it on a show.
Yes.
Yeah. So.
Are you being for real?
yeah, for real, banana ketchup.
No,
Is
dude.
does it
banana
still have
ketchup?
tomatoes in it?
Yeah,
Why isn't it
It
just
got
banana
bananas.
paste?
Oh.
What makes it ketchup?
the tomatoes?
the tomato.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so they mix it with tomatoes
Yeah.
and bananas. You say banana?
Yeah, banana ketchup.
That sounds
It's like
bananas.
well, it's from like like big thing in Jamaica, so like they really like it. I mean, I had like a little bottle
I
of
assume
it.
you've
and
tried it. Yeah. Is
yeah, it wasn't bad.
Good. Does it taste like
Tastes like
bananas,
bananas?
and ketchup?
Yeah, I mean, it tastes better than it sounds.
I would hope so, because it sounds appalling.
Well, I like to try anything, so
I don't
I'll
know
try
what would
anything
you
once.
put banana ketchup on. Let's start there.
Your
French-
finger to try it?
anything you'd put ketchup on. French fries. Maybe
I don't
some
know,
nuggets.
man. I don't know. It seems sus to me. I like bananas. It just sounds gross.
I don't know, like
Banana ketchup?
bananas do not go with with tomatoes.
I mean, clearly
It-
they
it-
do.
Apparently, I mean, hey, different taste buds.
Maybe we'll
but
try to get some for the podcast for all of us to try one week. A little bottle or something.
You heard it. Daveen said he will try it on the podcast for you guys.
Eventually.
Eric will
I'll
not.
try it. I'll try
I
it.
will not.
Okay. Fair enough. Well, so we played Minion next.
Ooh, minion.
Minion went well. It took a little while.
And it
Seemed
kept
like-
resetting too. I think what you were saying about that one, about the central res point, seemed to make that go different. I don't know. Like, it seemed like it made it more chaotic, where big teams didn't form as quickly
Right.
because we had the central res point. Maybe that was confusing people. And
There was
people just
also
getting
a
killed
few
or
big
something.
teams that dropped too. I noticed that.
Could be that they were getting back to their masters faster or whatever. Maybe
be.
that could be the
It
element.
was a smaller battlefield too.
That too. Yeah.
So, yeah, but I think it went well. And the winner of that was Lord Aridin Empora.
So congratulations.
Good job.
Scramble.
Whoops.
Scramble.
I was looking for the demon yelling clap voice, but I guess that's gone. That's not even on here, is it? No.
That's even worse.
Yeah. Oh well. Anyway,
You know what? I think you
You guys are
guys
brutal.
received that one.
Yeah.
it was
This
meant
one?
to be a clap, but so
Okay.
congratulations.
Congratulations to
Yeah.
Lord Aridin Empora for winning Minion.
Yep.
Good job.
Scramble.
And then next we played a ridiculous scramble.
It was kind
Oh
of
my
ridiculous.
god, that thing was chaotic.
It's because there was so many magic items again.
They
It was
were.
crazy.
They're
I
like,
literally
oh,
put all of them out there.
there's 12 players. Well, let's put 18 magic
Yep.
items. in
There
there.
was enough.
They were, like,
there probably was
everywhere.
enough for one for every person out there.
Oh, for sure.
So.
He's like, oh, nobody can have more than one. I'm like, well, everybody's going to get one then.
Everybody has one. And then he comes over with the bag. He's all like, here, you want this? Here, do
Yeah.
you want this? And I'm
Yeah.
like, wow, is this going to get even more crazier?
Yeah.
I mean, it was fun.
yeah, oh, it was.
It looked like they were having fun anyway. I didn't play in it. But
And even though there's not a winner to that game, I will say Joseph actually took the cake on that one.
He did.
He was able to kill Lord Rand at the end.
Mm.
He did.
And
When they were out of lives.
yeah,
end.
yeah,
Yeah.
There was no more reses.
Yeah, he.
I mean, I'm not going to say that I didn't tell somebody to die, but the point is Joseph won that game.
He did. He was in Cloud Leap.
Sorry, but
Is that the one?
Mhm, yeah.
He
that's
was
right.
in Cloud Leap, and he came out because he struck him. And
He came out to kill him. Yeah.
He came out to kill him, struck him, and then as he did, Lord Rand took his other leg, but Joseph had got him on a fatal wound, so
Nice.
perfect. I was
that's
all
how
like,
it's meant to be used.
Yeah, that is exactly.
You don't trust a cloud leaper around you.
Mm.
I don't
'Cause they
trust
can come
nobody
down
that
at
can
any
jump
time.
that high.
and it was funny because in the middle of this, he was all like, I can't find the ears, man. I can't find them. I was like, what do you mean? He's like, I lost them. So I was like, where did you have them last? He's like, they're over here. And we're like looking around.
Like they just fell off him.
Yeah. And I'm like, okay. So he went to go to the boundary. And as he turned, they were on his belt, like
Oh,
right here. He couldn't
goodness.
see them. And I'm like, bro, you got them on you. He's like, what? I was like, they're on your side. He looks over. He's like, they were out of my field of view. And he puts them back on.
That's funny.
So he had them the whole time. I was like, epic.
Yeah, and a lot of people are like, I've seen that used a lot, especially when we had it for the Easter event. It was basically used as a means of escape. But yeah, it is kind of meant to be used like what you were saying as a kind of a stealth attack almost, because you can cloud leap kind of over a group and then in the middle of that decide, okay, well now I'm just going to come down in the middle of this and like attack someone.
And to be clear, for those
kinda like
at
a
home
sneak
that
attack.
don't know what we're talking about, there's an ability called Cloud Leap where you're essentially supposed to be jumping around in the clouds, like above everybody.
Yeah, it's kind of like a Dragon Ball Z, like the way they just jump up in the air and you know.
Right. And so, like anybody
Dragon
with
Ball.
melee attack, you're immune to anybody with melee attacks. But at any time, you can jump out of the sky basically and start attacking. Of course, your like Cloud Leap is no longer in effect,
Right.
but you have to watch people doing that because they can just kind of attack you at any time. And I guess
If they're if they make an attack at you, you can still defend it, and then that brings them down out of the air. But if you're not paying attention and they attack you and hit you, even though they're in the middle of cloud leap, it's inferred that they came down out of the cloud leap and made an attack on you, and now they're on the ground. But their count still
which
hit.
like lore wise, I think is one of my favorite abilities if you just think about it in theory. Because I did tell him, I'm like, so you just know somebody can still shoot you with an arrow, somebody can still
right,
throw a
that's what I was
throwy
about to
weapon
say,
at
is
you.
that it does make you immune to melee. So, but it doesn't make you immune to any kind of ranged. So.
Right. Which he did understand. So
And I think technically the way that ability works with a lot of other abilities like tree climb is if you take damage in the tree when you fall out of it. So even in cloud leap, like if you did take range damage, you would take an additional leg whenever you hit the ground. Like when you come out of it, you
Yeah,
also
you'd
take
be
a leg. I
stumbling.
think is the
Yeah.
way it's supposed to work. But I don't know if we would enforce that with the cloud leap as a magical item, but still, just saying. Just to help further translate it into our game.
Okay.
Anyway.
Real quick, since you brought up last week's Easter event,
Mm-hmm.
on the last podcast, there was a shout out to Lord Reese about his were-bunny.
oh yeah, somebody was really impressed with your were-bunny.
They
I
were
have
impressed.
no idea what I did.
And
Apparently you made some kind of crazy rabbit noise.
No,
Yes.
Lily was just screeching.
so
No, I mean that's
we
what rabbits
weren't
do.
sure what the noise was. Can you please
That's what
reproduce
thump
that?
their foot.
The clicking sound, or just like
Yeah, what's a
whatever
rabbit screaming
noise,
sound?
whatever
Whatever noise.
were-rabbit noise you supposedly made last week.
Well, I was screeching.
Well,
like
screech then.
Screech.
I had no
Was it like
arms.
this? Or what?
Screech on.
Yeah, pretty much. Like
Yeah, Willie, show me how.
Yeah,
to
yo,
us-
show us how to do it. Come on.
I just did it. Was it like? Oh yeah, you got to put your hands up like that.
He's
Does
got
that
to.
help?
He's got to get
What
in.
the
He's got
hell
to get in where
Sorry,
where
sorry.
rabbit character.
If you need to move this chair back and bounce around a little bit to get
I'm
into
not
the-
gonna bounce it down.
he was too. He was
I
like,
put my hands up when I was telling them how to do it. So, yeah,
Man.
it's cool. You can do that. Does that help you get in character? I'm cool with it.
Well, I know, like I just like the normal clicking sound.
Is that what you're doing?
I was doing that because like I know like rabbits like make.
That's
a
not
weird,
a screeching noise.
But that's
though.
not a screeching.
Yeah,
like
it's a screeching noise.
come on.
make a fool out of myself.
That's all right.
Come
It's all
on.
right.
You got to do something. Come on.
We do it on the weekly. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well,
Sounds
okay.
exactly like a rabbit.
Yes.
It's not a rabbit though. I was just screeching. I was like
There
needing
was
my
like a
arms.
Xena warrior princess.
Oh,
but, I
that's
mean,
exactly what that sounded like. I forgot about that show, but you're
well,
right.
like the healer was in the back, and I was just like waving my arms, screaming. I was like, "You gonna do like, I'm like help."
Oh, because
Like,
you didn't have arms.
Yeah, I was like,
Oh, and he was
I
a
was-
rabbit. He couldn't talk. Makes sense.
"Where rabbits can't talk."
So he's just screaming.
He was
I mean, it
just
makes
making
sense,
some
yeah.
crazy noise.
Flailing my
Healer, what
arms
the hell?
around.
Did you get the attention of the healer?
Yeah, he looked right at me.
Well, there you go. I guess
Every-
it
heal
worked.
you?
Everybody was looking at me, but
Did he heal you?
no, not at
Oh,
all.
wow.
Not at all.
Shout out to Wilhelm.
Good job. Way to be.
Love that. Fair enough. Well,
Well, now we know. Thank you. We appreciate that.
It's no problem.
it's no problem, he said. We're almost done with the recap. We probably should push forward here.
Brain.
Yeah.
We played a Pandemic Panic. We
yeah,
played 2
the
rounds
last
of that.
thing we played was Pandemic Panic. Yep.
Which, listen, only game I played today, and I did have fun.
Cool.
Good.
So
Yeah, good. You did a good job of like what you were doing.
that's how it needs to be done.
Yeah, was how it needed to be done, and you even somehow got the zombies not to like. They weren't even like trying to do the same
No.
thing back, like where they were organizing and being like, "Look, he's just killing us one by one."
Well, so all they did basically,
They were just
so-
running in.
So when we did it, obviously I formed a shield wall against the better of the 2 zombies. Which is what I felt like needed to be done, and that worked over and over and over. Fortunately, and they never
Mhm.
tried another strategy.
They didn't
I-
even get a kill on
at
that
the very
first one.
end. They did.
Oh, did they get one?
Yeah,
Okay.
they unfortunately got our healer.
Yeah.
Ah,
Right at the very end, as
It was already over basically, but
he walked across the boundary, and that's when we were like, time.
yeah,
I was like,
yeah, they had just gotten him.
perfect.
It was during last wave.
Yeah.
Hmm.
But yeah, I mean, obviously, as on the human side of it, the first side of it that I did, we just stayed really organized, and then when
And you were doing it in character too, which is cool. It's not like you were going out of character for
No,
it.
I
You were
wasn't,
Like,
yeah.
There's another one over there, and look
Yeah.
out! Here comes another.
well, I was
and-
waiting until I heard them because I didn't
Mhm.
want to just like focus on one of them. So I would
Yeah.
I was like back to the center, and then I would wait for him to cross and hear them, and then I would do it again. And then when I was on the zombie side of things, they kind of tried a strategy similar to what we
Mhm.
did, except there were 3 zombies now,
Yeah.
and so they put 2 shields on me, which worked until it didn't. Basically, like they killed me a few times, like they killed me 4 or 5 times, but I just kept spawning because I
Mhm.
was one of the first zombies or whatever. So I only had like a 3-second respawn, and then I was coming back again. Eventually, I got Lord Rand Rainwalker, and then the tides kind of turned pretty quickly after that. I thought there are 4 zombies.
Yeah, it didn't last very long at all once you guys
No.
started getting kills on that second one.
Yeah. So, but I mean, the point is that it was a lot of role play and it was a lot of fun. So
I mean, even sitting there watching it, I was sitting there with Valkyrie watching it, and I mean, we could feel the energy. We
Yeah.
were having fun just watching you guys.
Really calling that one is one I've had more fun. We didn't do it this time where we roleplay called it, but calling that one to play is one of the funnest ones to actually call to because there's so much roleplay you could do with it. Like the zombies are coming, everybody get ready,
Right.
And you start looking at them, trying to figure out whether they're going to be a zombie. You're like, who ingested the tainted ale?
Sure.
That one's
always
fun
fun.
to roleplay.
And I'll say this too, because I kind of use this as like some inspiration for when I played the zombie. I recently watched that The Last of Us series,
Mhm.
and
No spoilers.
no spoilers.
Okay.
But anyone who played the game knows that there's some bigger, like hulkier version of these like mushroom, I don't know, bad guys we'll call them,
Mm.
and they call them shamblers, and they're these big old dudes,
Mhm.
And so whenever I had the shield at the beginning and I was playing like kind of a special zombie, at least I felt like a special zombie, I went out and I was roaring and stuff to get their attention, with that shield and sword or whatever. And that's kind of where I'd gotten my inspiration was
Right.
from that show because I liked that shambler so much. And he was this big.
Did you have that
giant-
idea from the very beginning when you started doing
Yes,
that?
as soon as I grabbed the shield, I was like, oh, well, I'm gonna be like this big zombie. I'm just gonna like demand all the attention of all the humans and let the other 2 zombies do their thing from the back. Was kind of my hope, basically. So, like I said, it was fun though.
Did they get kills before you did?
I'm not. No, I don't think so. I think I killed Rand first.
And it was downhill from there for the heroes.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, as I say, me and Magnus were the last ones.
And they fended us off for a while. I don't think they even quite made it to last wave,
no,
though.
we didn't.
Mm-hmm.
So
And-
that's like that game snowballs crazy though.
It can.
So like that's why I think we did so well in the first round was because we didn't lose anybody until the very end.
Mm-hmm.
Because what happens is you start with 2 zombies and then they get another and they're 3, but there's 1 less human, and now you got 3 zombies coming.
Yeah, you got to.
And so like basically if you get somebody
like
early,
an apex where as soon as you
yeah,
hit
but like
that
once it
apex,
starts
it's over.
snowballing, it's over.
Mhm.
So we just hit it earlier. That's all it was.
And we did add a couple. We added special zombies into it, which I don't think anybody even used those. I don't.
Well,
think.
we did a little.
Oh, did you guys use them?
Yeah, like as soon as I got Lord Rand Rainwalker, he was like, "I'll sit out for you." I'm like, "No, I'll sit out for you. Like, go ahead. like I've already done 7 rounds of this. You go ahead."
Right.
You know.
Mm-hmm.
So we did a little bit as far as like people sitting out for each other so they could use shields.
Right. Yeah, and for a little bit of context, I guess most people that are listening probably know how to play that game, so I'll just say what the special zombies are for the people who weren't there in case they come back, another weekend, and then when I'm like, oh, we're using special zombies this week. Basically, we let a zombie that is dead sit out for another zombie as they spawn in, and then that zombie gets a buff based on how many people sat out for the zombie that's getting the buff. You can either take normal weapons, or you can run fast, or you can put both hands on your exotic or 2-handed weapon. And there are a couple other things too, but I don't think we would have been able to. There's a couple other types of special zombies, but we didn't get to those because I think it would have just overcomplicated the situation, especially with how little people was kind of playing at that time. But also because we're adding these back in, it would have made it kind of complicated. But also, I did add in that throwy rule that we had talked about. I think we talked about it. I think it was on the podcast once.
Yeah, I liked the idea of 1, not 2.
Just having one.
Yeah.
Here's-
Because, go ahead.
Oh, what I was going to say was, eventually, whenever we have enough people, I'd be okay with taking out the cap on the ranged for Pandemic Panic condition.
If the zombies have the ability to use shields.
On the condition, no, that's not what I was going to say. I was going to say on the condition that if a zombie catches your throne, they can throw it outside of the area.
Okay.
They can eliminate your throne.
I mean, I guess,
from
but
the
some
game.
people can have 25 throwies on them.
Sure.
So I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, that
See
might
how it
not be
works.
fair. But
Sometimes we'll
what I
try it
was
out,
thinking,
and
yeah.
if the zombies get dominated by thrown weapons, we'll have to alter the rule again.
And what were you starting to say before I finished?
Just that if zombies have the ability to take shields in there,
Oh, yeah.
that kind of
kind
helps
of mitigates
against the
that.
thrown weapons.
And it doesn't give them the ability to actually attack anybody anymore. Like it's just a defensive weapon,
Right.
Or like thing. So that'd be kind of a good idea too, really.
Right. But yeah, that was all we did today. I mean,
Yep.
it was a good day.
It was. It was a
So-
fantastic day. Everybody had fun. Everybody was laughing and joking when, in between. They were, enjoying Mercer Stitch being there.
Who brought food again? Shout
By
out.
the way, the tabard she made for Magnus looks amazing.
Yeah,
like
it does.
yeah, it
It
does.
looks
it
really good.
looks so good.
Mhm.
Like I'm so glad.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fantastic. It really does look good.
It was amazing.
And I was telling them, I said, I think the reason for me that it looks so good is that it seems more elegant. To me, it seems more of royal nature than anybody else's so far.
Anybody's, yeah.
Because everybody else is like using cloth, and that almost looks like some kind of like satin or something. It
Yeah,
has like
it's
a
like shimmering.
yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, it also kind of goes with like me and his backstory too, because like we're both kind of like royal, we're kind of like uptight, more
Well,
like
to be
pristine.
fair, and I don't really mean this disrespectfully, but everything that the clan has to deal with should come from your background.
Yeah,
Like if you feel like you're like elegant and have money or whatever, that's how the clan should be built, and everyone else should have to fall into your thing, in my opinion. But that's how I would run my clan.
yeah, which is also awesome because like he is the second in command, so like having
Yeah. And clearly it shows. I mean, he looks good.
Mhm.
You need to get one of those made now.
I think this upcoming Saturday I should have it. I
Cool.
should have that in my clan banners.
Oh, you're having it made then. Cool.
Well, I don't know if you remember, but we talked about it last week or whatever. But Lord Rand
yeah.
took care of him for his Easter basket by
Oh, yeah.
paying
yeah,
for those
super
things.
amazing. I
So-
can't be more thankful.
it was awesome.
Yeah.
awesome.
It was a
So,
cool
let's-
Easter basket to
Let's get to these the suggestion box stuff.
All right.
You see that,
I
right?
think there's some good stuff in here.
That little fly landed on this button, and I flicked him, and he's dead. D-E-D. Dead.
Dang, bro.
Wow.
Killed that fly.
All right.
Let's
How'd
try
you
to
kill
get
him
through
with?
this.
You flicked him and didn't press the button. You just flicked him
Yeah.
right off there. Wow.
That's how awesome I am.
Wow.
He landed there earlier, and I was gonna slap it, but
Yeah. Got to be smarter.
if I would have, and his little corpse would have been smushed, I'd have left it there. I'd have been like, "Yep, that's staying."
Cool.
But I did not, alas. Okay, so I got one that says, "That's what she doth declare." That's not actually what it says. It says, "That's what she said." But
Well,
that's my medieval version of that.
I think it's funny.
Thanks.
Also, we kind of already addressed this. I think we should just leave it at what we already addressed.
yeah, that's a good idea.
Again, Magnus's new tabard looks so freaking cool.
We all agree.
I agree. Yeah, looks amazing.
I heard somebody give him a hard time over it today, and forget that person because it looks awesome.
Yes, whoever that person is.
Let me find
You're
out.
wrong.
Let me find out who it was.
You were there.
Beastmaster Ranger gets a 30-second slow at level 2. Bolo throw at level 3 and Ghost Strike on top of being able to use two-handers. That's without summons. We need more Beastmasters. Secret OP.
There you go. Beastmasters for the win. I got a great energy from players despite the cold.
I agree.
Absolutely.
And I got when will the barbarian and the other classes be added?
Down the road. Much further down the road. I mean, I think we're basically going to get back into like the campaign style stuff that we had when we're back at property, and I can't imagine that that'll be released prior to that.
Right. Yeah. Right. I would agree. It
So-
probably won't be till we're at property.
Once we get to property, I will say this. As far as like canon, I don't necessarily want to replay those areas that we've already done. We could, but something to think about. But if we have to replay those areas or whatever, that's when that's when that would unlock.
Right. Yeah. I don't think I will make it to where we got to redo those areas to unlock barbarian.
In
Any of
fact,
the
I'm
ones
sure
that
we
we've
could write
unlocked
up
already.
we could probably write up some lore for what happened.
Mm-hmm.
We could probably get with our writer and basically tell him rough about what happened, and he could write it up.
Mm-hmm. True.
So, anyway, something to think about.
All right.
So if you're holding out to get your extended weapon length from barbarian, you may have to hold out a little bit longer.
A lot longer.
Oopsies.
Actually.
A
Probably.
bit longer.
A bit longer.
I liked the location today with the trees and smaller area. It kept people from just standing waiting so long.
True.
So yeah, it actually kind of forced our hero's hand to actually commit to battling and having more production today instead of just
A lull.
waiting.
Laying down on the edge or
Yeah,
something.
who's going to
waiting,
strike
yeah.
first?
Mhm.
So this was good.
Okay.
Right. If you could build a clan out of all the current players, who would you pick and why?
Like they want us to name drop. Is that what I'm getting out of that?
I think that's what it is. I don't know.
Well, I would be in it.
Well, it would be your clan, so of course.
Of course.
I meant like I'd be in anybody's clan because I'm the best.
Yeah, probably not.
Oh, okay.
Best at dying.
All right. I am good at dying.
Good distraction. Everybody wants to go after you.
I mean, I would put it like this, right? So I would want Wilhelm. I would want Wilhelm because he's the highest level healer. I would want probably Lord Rand Rainwalker because he's the highest level warrior. I would basically try
You
to
could
go by
almost go-
experience.
Yeah, you could almost go down the line of XP. Sorry, I hit the mic.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. But you could, probably almost go down the line of XP, and whoever's in top XP be
Sure.
basically the people. That,
Heston Iverson is the only wizard. I would
Mhm.
want him. The highest level rogue, whoever that is. You know, that's how I would
Magnus.
assemble my team.
Yep.
So, actually, no. But
Ye-
Magnus,
Yefutin would
Magnus
might be
is
over
not a
him.
very high level at all.
Oh, that's right.
Argus Greenwood was, but we don't know where he went. He just kind of disappeared off the face
Right.
of the planet. I hope he's okay, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't heard anything from
What
him.
happened?
Argus.
Wasn't he in your clan?
Argus?
From what I heard, the reason why Magnus is here is he kind of filled in his spot trying to follow him, or not really follow him, but see where he went.
Oh,
was
so he's
tracking
looking
Argus?
for Argus.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Originally, it
I
was
see.
tracking him.
Well, he's not doing a very good job.
Terrible.
Just
Terrible.
throwing that out there.
Okay.
But anyway, that's what I would do. Anybody else would do it any differently?
No, I'd basically do it the same way. I'd go with
Yeah.
the highest XP because they're the strongest people. Like they'd all have to at least be level 3, and man, there might be quite a few level 3s. So
There's not that many.
No.
Not as less than you think there is. Well, as a level 3
And
marshal,
also-
do I get to be in a clan?
no,
Dang.
You know what's really cool?
What's that?
depends what
I'm
class
not
are
that
you.
far from level 3.
Yeah, but I
What-
still have more experience, so
True.
That depends what class you're playing whenever you come out there.
that's true. I might take one of those other people's spots. You never know.
Because I wouldn't want all melee. Like I definitely want some range, like you were saying, like a rogue or
yeah.
a ranger.
Yeah.
Oh, I want a ranger for sure. I want at least one ranger. This is tough though. Are we building it based on 6? Are we building it based on 8?
I figured it was 5, just because how many clans?
Because that's
are
where
there?
we're capped at right now.
Well,
Yeah.
I never had a clan of only 5 people. So
Okay.
Yeah, as I say, Wilhelm, because the cleric
Mm-hmm.
ran just because he has that. He's
the
just
highest,
really
the highest
good
level warrior, man.
warrior, and he's like very strategic. Like he knows how to
True.
get everybody together.
Yeah, it doesn't take a lot of unnecessary risks
Yeah.
for sure.
I think
Mm.
Trinity's going to be really good too soon.
As I say,
I just run from
his
I don't even
polearm.
fight Trinity usually.
If I don't have a shield, I ain't fighting him.
Yeah, Trinity for sure, and then Magnus.
And soon it's not even going to matter because he told me at next level, as soon as he levels, he's getting 2 disarms.
Yeah,
That's terrifying.
yeah. Like I already have trouble killing him now. Like that's just gonna be even worse.
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna literally have to
That's
like.
brutal.
It's a nightmare. I don't
Get
want to fight that
disarmed.
guy. He's got a 7-foot pole that he's going to freaking shoot at me. And now he, from 7 feet away, he can take my shield away? No, thanks. That sounds terrible. But
He's gonna be.
He's
He's the sleeper.
He's got the range that he's good with it. Like
He
it's
is.
too good with it. It's kind of a little unfair.
I know we're like right in the middle of this part, but how about we drop the code word right here so that it's not easily
that's
found?
a good point. You got a code word ready to go over here?
Polearm.
Polearm
Polearm.
is, and make sure you use it in a sentence. You know, if you tell somebody other than me the code word, make sure they understand that you're telling them.
And
the
they don't
code
just
word.
roll
Or
with it, not
staff.
having any idea what the hell you're talking about.
Yeah.
Me. That's what I do. all
Well,
the
he
time.
doesn't
No, or
have a staff.
No,
He has the spear.
it has to be polearm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we could do spear as well, because like polearm's.
Oh, come on.
Spear-
Polearm, spear,
polearm,
or
spear.
staff?
That's
no, I'm
not how
saying
we're
like
Just
doing it.
staff.
okay.
Well,
Well,
the
polearm.
code word is polearm. Let's not confuse anyone. The code name is polearm.
Okay,
Would
polearm.
give me so much
Polearm.
polearm. It can't really work that in a sentence.
Yeah, they
Spear,
can.
Yeah, you can.
Have you seen the new polearm that I just made,
Yeah.
bro?
Trinity's scary with his huge polearm.
Yeah.
Alright.
Trinity has the biggest polearm I've ever
Yeah.
seen.
I'd like to grab a hold
And
of
every
his
time I get
polearm.
near him, he hits me in the face with it.
Dude, he does, dude. And I don't feel like there's enough padding there.
Yeah, it hurts. And he took one to the face today and was
Yeah.
totally
Oh
cool
my
with
gosh.
it. So
And made sure to make the comment about how he's used to taking it in the face,
Right.
which is interesting. Also, we'll never
I mean,
shout
I guess
out
don't,
Trinity again.
don't dish
but-
it out unless you can,
Yeah.
take it. So.
Right. I mean, makes sense to me.
I mean, we will never shout out Trinity. You know what? I'm still angry with Trinity.
Yeah, what happened?
So, last podcast, had made a statement, which I'm not going to make it again. I see that poop-eating grin.
I didn't watch it, so I don't remember what.
You don't even.
I don't know.
Hey, calm down.
This all
It's okay.
blends together.
It's like everybody in his family will not watch it.
I know.
Jeez,
I watch
so
it sometimes.
We take the time to do
You know what's
this.
funny?
I'm
Watch it.
here.
I will say this. I don't typically watch them either, but I specifically went into the podcast this week to see if Trinity edited out your comment from last week, and he told me he just tried to make it worse.
He did.
He's like, no, I like basically edited. I took it and I took the pitch all the way down, so he sounded like a girl when he said it. I'm like, that's
Wow.
hilarious.
he changed, like, he edited it. I was like, please edit this.
He
And
edited
I
it.
did not say, please edit this out. I said, please edit this. So he took it literal, and I'm like, yeah, thanks, guy.
I think it's funny.
So I apparently have angered the
The editor.
the editor god.
That is one person you listen in high school. You don't want to piss off the lunch ladies.
Yeah.
You done did it.
Yeah.
So good luck going forward.
Yeah. So I will not use that phrase ever again.
Fair enough. Well, let's just keep moving on here. All right.
Okay.
I have people who have not passed the Squire test should not use any
what
ability
the
until
hell?
so. You okay?
Yeah, I was saying you went twice, but that's fine. I was
I
just
didn't,
giving
but
you
I didn't,
crap.
though.
You didn't?
No.
How come I didn't? Did I go again?
Because you had 5 cards.
I threw one of mine out,
All right.
and you also had an extra card.
Anyway, I agree.
Yeah, I mean, if you have not finished the Squire test, stop trying to use abilities, you're cheating.
Yeah.
on.
So like there was. Yeah, I mean, really, we can just.
We
move
don't
on.
need to talk
Yeah.
about a specific
I agree.
example
I
of
was say
it.
because
So if you're using an ability and you've not passed the Squire test, you really shouldn't be.
on top of that, people could pretty much use any ability
True that.
of that level 1.
Well, I mean, I had told them that if they picked an ability to use, that they were stuck to that class. But then I've also told people I'm okay with you changing your class.
He hasn't
too,
even gone through
so-
those yet, has he?
No. he
Oh
hasn't.
yeah, give me those back.
He's special.
I
You're
put too
up.
many back over
What do you
there.
got?
Okay, this one says, "Can you kick a throwable at a target if you lost both arms?"
No.
No.
Technically, no. But if you did it to me, I would take it. I would honor it.
Okay, so you can do it to North and no one else.
Yes.
Move on.
You can try
Okay.
and see what happens, but
All right, moving on. Next.
Yeah, just do another one.
that's the way Haley killed Rob that time.
Yeah, but he didn't have to take it.
No, but he
He did.
reluctantly did.
Yeah.
Yeah. He said it kind of hit me in the neck and the head, but I took it.
Well, he had
Um,
perfect form. So
Yeah. My new boss at work was bringing up how her son is always excited for the LARP booth at Country Days. Is Darvishan going to have a booth or showing this year? Yes,
Ambassador,
we plan
can
on
you
it.
talk
Yeah,
about that?
Ambassador
As
is-
ambassador, I can ambassador. I want to sound regal. Thank you.
that was my thing. What the hell?
I will definitely converse with our other
contact.
our
yeah.
other contacts
Mhm.
that do set up stuff like that. I will get with them so that we can have a booth at Country Days. So I will do my best to make sure that does happen.
So we should be there
We should be there, and
if
Country
everything
Days
goes
again
accordingly.
is June 2nd, 3rd, and 4th.
Nice.
Cool.
Off the top of my dome.
The
so
dome
we
piece.
will have to check those dates to make sure they're right.
Check them because I had to request off for the 2nd because I'm going to be in the parade for somebody else. So
Gotcha.
I'll be pulling double duty that day.
Cool.
All right.
Who's
So
up?
what do you got? Last one. Go ahead.
Have we already did a shout out for the 5K? We did this, right?
We
do
did
the
it last week.
Shout
That's-
for the 5K this week. Do we need to say anything else about it this week?
It's Saturday.
It is
So
Saturday,
this will
be
the
released
22nd.
Wednesday.
Yeah, it'll be a couple days after the
So, but
podcast release.
We got more people.
We have 6 people that are going. So North, Magnus, myself, Heston, Lord Reese, and Cricket will be going. Cricket is actually going to walk with us.
You can actually hear her talk if you listen. Get it? Cricket.
I heard it. I heard it. But
That's so
yeah,
funny.
it's the 22nd, and I have a bunch of business cards from the businesses that are supporting us. So I will hand those out, and hopefully we can do like a podcast, or hopefully next week's podcast when we do it again will be a little shorter, so that we can thank all of our supporters. Or
Cool.
even if like we did a separate podcast. That evening or something,
Okay.
so that we can put it on Patreon, or just put it out so that we can send it to all our supportive businesses.
Okay.
Cool.
All right.
You got anything else?
Read that one and see if you think that one's worth trying to figure out.
No, we're not doing that.
Okay.
Okay, so
We already
in that
talked
case,
about it.
we found someone too big for cuffs.
Oh, yeah, that's true. They did try to put Alvin in the shackles today.
Who?
Excuse me, Lord Rand Rainwalker in the shackles today, and he did not fit. His
Big
wrists were
meaty
too big.
claws.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they would not fit.
So,
No heals for brains unless first wave zombies are gone.
Oh, I put that one in there.
Cool.
I think.
what else you got? Just run it.
Coconuts, do they migrate?
Yeah, I did.
Well, it depends. Swallow can carry coconuts, specifically the African swallow. I don't know if you're aware-
a creeper.
Do we need to fact check this?
Oh no, it's facts.
Okay.
If you do want like a reference,
It could be carried.
you could watch Monty Python. I can't even talk.
Monty
Monty
Python.
Python and the Holy Grail from is it 75? 1975.
I'm not sure what year it came out.
I feel
Yeah,
like
man,
it's in that
somewhere around
area.
there. It is actually really funny. Like
It is
I
very
mean,
funny. It's a specific kind of humor that if you
Yeah.
don't like that humor, you won't think the movie's funny. But in my opinion, it's very intelligent humor. The
It
jokes
is.
are
Yeah,
very
it's very
funny.
well written.
Very.
Yeah.
It
very
is
well.
amazing what you can do. Like that shows what you can do and have a really funny movie with like not that big of a script
Right.
and not that big of a cast. If you
Yeah.
look, most of the scenes are like even the background guys are like the main guys playing background guys, or it's like
Yep.
the same background guys.
I agree.
It should be on a list for like the greatest low budget film of all time. Like
Yeah,
With Napoleon Dynamite being next to it.
Napoleon's up there. I've also seen like the Paranormal Activity movies is up there. But yeah. Anyway, I got a great day. Thank you, everyone.
All right.
Which I agree. Great day.
Everybody, I think everybody agrees on that one. All right, so the last one for the day. I'm not who you think I am. Keep guessing.
Is this a riddle?
The Gold Stealer.
Oh, we got the Gold Stealer coming back again. I will say that I thought that I was on to something. I thought I knew who it was, and I followed a lead last week, and there was no gold on that person.
Came up
So-
empty, huh?
I did. So we got to keep looking.
Again, metagaming.
Well, then we don't know.
I can't do anything about it until there is factual evidence.
Mm.
We're going to get some Sherlock Holmes going on in there.
I'm trying.
We must get factual evidence.
I don't know how to find out
Using
other than
deductive
finding
reasoning.
I
the
have-
gold on the person.
I have information, but I don't know how to.
Oh, I have the
Just
same
relay it.
information. The same information that I got last week.
I don't know. It was this week.
Oh,
I'll say this: I had a player. I'm not gonna say who.
okay.
Come up to me and give me a chest full of gold.
Oh?
And they were
Oh.
like, "Hey, this is some money to like give to the town in compensation for that gold." And I was like,
Interesting.
"So, are you the one who stole the other gold? Because it was different gold."
Right.
And they were like, "No, I'm not. But I just wanted to give you this." And I was like,
Interesting.
Okay.
I mean, that doesn't implicate them, though. It doesn't. It's not enough information.
I don't know if they
to
were
go
just
on.
trying to.
Maybe they were just doing a nice thing for the town.
Yeah,
Throw you off.
maybe right, trying to refill the coffers of the town or whatever.
I
maybe,
think
or-
that might be true. I think
Could be. I don't know.
using deductive reasoning,
Sure.
I do declare that that person was trying to be more.
You can do it.
What is the proper word I'm using?
Nobody knows what you're trying to say.
They were trying to support our town and again bring coffers that were stolen to our town.
Oh.
So by deductive reasoning, that person is not the gold thief.
Gotcha, I guess.
Yes, thank you.
I mean, it doesn't mean they didn't steal the gold.
No, it
They
doesn't.
just gave it back in a different form.
But again, I know who did it.
But you don't, though, because you would have to metagame, though,
I-
so we don't know.
know.
Is there anything else that you wanted to talk about on the podcast this week specifically?
No, that's everything I have.
So there's no Daveen's Corner this week.
I mean,
He did it at the beginning, didn't he?
No, that was
No,
Davin's
that was
joke
the-
of the week.
Daveen's
Oh,
joke
okay.
of the week. Daveen usually has his own corner, but
We're kind of out of time, though.
yeah, we are out of time. So with that being said,
We hope you keep listening.
and we hope you keep fighting in the name of our capital, Darvishan.
And we'll see you all next week.
Bye.